Good man, he gave up his seat.
Right. Well,
Spoke too soon.
I am going to declare that it is now 10 o'clock and that we do have a quorum, and I will call this meeting to order. Would like to begin with our opening prayer. Father Joe Keating from Sacred Heart. Father Joe, if you would you please lead us in a word of prayer?
Certainly. Thank you, Judge. We'll begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Friends and neighbors, listen to the words of Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall be ever in my mouth. Let my soul glory in the Lord. The lowly will hear me and be glad. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us together extol his name. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Look to him that you may be radiant with joy, and your faces may not blush with shame. When the afflicted man called out, the Lord heard, and from all his distress he saved him. Fear the Lord, you his holy ones, for naught is lacking to those who fear him. The great grow poor and hungry, but those who seek the Lord want for no good thing. Come, children, hear me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Which of you desires life and takes delight in prosperous days? Let us pray. Lord, may everything we do begin with your inspiration and continue with your help, so that all our prayers and works may begin in you and by you be happily ended. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. As
My
always,
pleasure.
you're free to stay here with us and enjoy the festivities, or you're free to go at any time.
Thank you, Judge.
But thank you very much for being here today. I also like to ask Commissioner Zicking to lead us in our pledges today.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
What a great audience we have today. Thank everyone for being here. It's going to be a good day. Are there any public comments on any agenda items that we?
There are not.
Okay. Item number 6 is presentation of a proclamation declaring National 4-H Week. And I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the Cooke County Commissioners Court is proud to honor the Texas 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for 115 years of providing experience-based education to youth throughout the Lone Star State. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for all youth through their head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And whereas the program's more than 550,000 urban, suburban, and rural youth participants, ranging in age from 8 to 18, come from diverse ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today were it not for the service of its more than 30,000 volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources to the youth of Texas. And whereas throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans through its innovative and inspiring programs, and continues to build character and instill the values that have made our state strong. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Cooke County Commissioners Court hereby designates October 1 through 7, 2023 as National 4-H Week and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension Service and the many men and women who have made the program a success. And our thanks to you. I'm going to go ahead and get this proclamation signed.
I make a
And,
motion we approve it.
that would be a good thing too. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. The National 4-H proclamation passes 5-0. I will present this here in just a little bit. We have another presentation that we want to make next, and then we'll present the proclamation and then have a photo op to those who wish to partake. While we're signing this, I would like to go ahead and introduce Deputy District Director Robin Vaughn. If you would you please say whatever you'd like to say, and you have the audience.
Hi, I'm Robin Vaughn of Congressman Michael Burgess's office, and we wanted to take this opportunity. The Congressman, as you can imagine, is knee-deep in legislative work this week in Washington and was not able to be here for Commissioner's Court, but he did ask me to present these certificates of special congressional recognition to two students who have achieved remarkable things in their work through 4-H, and I won't read the whole letter that the Congressman has sent to the students, but I do want to kind of give you a couple of pertinent details. For Madeline Williams, Madeline, will you come up? The Congressman states, congratulations on the honor of being awarded the 4-H Gold Star Award by the Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension. Through your commitment of time and your passion to serve your community, you are a motivating example for your peers. I salute your dedication to community service and leadership, as well as your desire to expand your knowledge of Texas agriculture. Signed, Michael Burgess, MD, Member of Congress. We have a certificate of special recognition to Madeline Williams in recognition of outstanding and valuable service to the community. We have another Cooke County student who has also achieved the 4-H Gold Star Award. Joseph Fisher, would you come up, please? As a member of the Lindsay 4-H Club, you have distinguished yourself, by participating in programs ranging from Cooke County 4-H to Ultra Leadership Lab. Your repeated qualification for state roundup demonstrates a pursuit of excellence. As a leader in not only your club, but also in Cooke County, you have exhibited your dedication to community service. Community service is a key tenet of public service, and I applaud your initiative to improve yourself and your community. Sincerely, Michael C. Burgess, MD, Member of Congress. And as well, I'm presenting you a certificate of special congressional recognition for your outstanding and invaluable service to the community. Congratulations.
Quite an honor. I know you've been presented those awards previously, but this is quite an honor too. So congratulations to both of you. Where would Phyllis? Are you going to accept the proclamation, or who is?
Can my county council officer?
Absolutely. Whoever you would like to. And where would you like to do it? Right up here, or?
You can do it, and then we take a big picture with everybody out
Okay.
there. because that's going to take a little bit of time, I think. And I want to thank, you talked about volunteers on that proclamation. There's a whole bunch. Wave to the commissioners who all volunteer, whether it be parent volunteer or club manager or shooting sports coach. We have a lot here today. If you notice, there's a lot of young ones here today. They
Yes.
really want to see what's it all about.
Pass the torch.
But here is
Right.
county council. It's almost like student council in a school. They start out by representing their club, and as they age, they become officers, and they're sort of like our ambassadors here in Cooke County. So if you ever need a speaker for something, call me up and I'll get in touch. So, Laney Ryder,
Come down here.
County Sharp, Maynard Sharp, Abby Knowles, Addison Wilkinson, and Joshua Finley. Oh, and then we have Joe Fisher, and we also have Madeline Williams.
Behind the wheel, gonna scoot to go that way. He going
Kind of scoot this way where everybody can get the picture. Okay, so, Phyllis, you said these, your council is.
And the ranking officer is Laney Ryder. She's first class.
Okay, if you would you, let me, why don't you get right up here, okay, where we can see everybody. Let's do that, and we'll get right in front of them. And I'd just like to, on behalf of Cooke County, present this proclamation to you. And it's something to be very proud of. Okay, you should all be very proud of what you do for and how you represent the youth of Cooke County. Thank you very much. Okay. And with that, is there anything you'd like to say? You have a speech prepared or?
I mean, this is just a really great thing that we need to do. I think that being able to have a national 4-H week is something that a lot of other organizations don't get to have. And this is just a really great opportunity for us to advocate for.
And I would also like to point out too that the congressman representative who is presented to the board too, that's something that is very special. Also, and thanks again to all the volunteers as well as mentioned. Thank you to all of you. Now, would you like to go outside on the steps and?
Yeah, or where do you think we can fit everybody in?
Well, we file just right outside on the steps outside, and we'll try to get assembled and. Ready? You guys ready? Shelley, are you ready? Okay. All right, we'll end our break here at 10:27 and resume court. Consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda, unless anybody's got anything they want to pull.
We have a motion to approve, Commissioner Snuggs.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? There are none. Consent agenda passes 5-0. Item number 9 is to deliberate and consider possible approval of the treasurer's monthly report for September 2023. I make a motion we approve the treasurer's monthly report.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. The item number 9, the treasurer's report passes 5-0. Item number 10 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding Chapter 381 agreement with Riverside Home Builders Limited. Commissioner Snuggs, you want to?
We've heard this twice now. I brought it back so we could get counsel from Jim Allison with TAC. And I gave y'all all his response that this could affect our total revenue and affect our 3.5% cap. I'll let you talk to it, but it's not looking real favorable on my end, at least. I'll let you want to read this? The 3.5% revenue cap hit us pretty hard this year, so anything that affects that, we have to look at really hard. If you'll introduce yourself, and you can.
Yeah, my name is Doug Duffy. I'm a CPA representing Riverside Home Builders Limited. So my understanding of this is you said that if the entire sales tax collection, including the rebate, are included in the revenue cap calculation. I guess in many cases it depends on, you're going to be paying an expense as well associated with half of it,
But that's
roughly
what he's
every
saying,
6 months.
Even though the expense, it doesn't offset it. That's
So
what
it
you-
is-
That's what you're understanding too, right?
And the only other thing I would say is that I can't predict exactly how often the revenue would increase that much, because it would be based on the time frame that the materials are purchased and the taxes paid, because it has to be paid once a month. So it's not like you'll have a bulk revenue hit at one time, but it would be a monthly payment of the
Well,
taxes.
yeah, whether they're monthly or not, it goes into the annual calculation. It just-
Right.
We have to pick up the last 4 quarters and the annual.
So it's based on your fiscal year, or,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, and it's, are you familiar with the revenue cap that the state put on us? Yeah. It's,
Yeah. And I know
probably
that-
something new you're dealing with on any of these you're trying to get past.
Well, and the property tax situation is a lot different these days than it has been. It's getting where there's the increase in values, but at the same point, you could have increases due to the homes that are actually generating new property taxes as well,
Right, but it's
much
all-
less the materials that are being used to construct them.
Yeah.
Those have to be complete 100% on January 1 to be counted.
I'm sorry?
Those have to be completed January 1 to be counted.
Okay.
And new bills, where do they fit in that formula? Because they're new bills. First year, we don't have to show them, right?
Right. Do you have this agreement with any other county?
I have in the past, but not since the legislation was changed.
I think that's the kicker.
Do I understand this right? We get, okay, we're gonna get all the sales tax, right? And we'll reimburse y'all for 50%, right?
Right.
But we still have to show that we brought these tax in.
And that lowers our taxable value.
Right. So we're,
So your tax rate will plummet, and then when they're gone, then you would have to go above voter approval rate to.
And the way I understood it, it stays, the entire amount stays, whether you give a rebate or not.
Because you
We
can't net
choose
those.
to give that rebate.
You can't net an expense.
Right, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, hey, you should have kept that money rather than giving it away. We're going to put it against your whole calculation is the way it basically works. But I'm thrilled with all the Riverside things coming in. The new builds are going to be amazing over the next 2 years, but at this time, I can't get on board with this.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we do not accept the Chapter 381 agreement with Riverside Home Builders.
We have a motion to not accept the Chapter 381 agreement with Riverside. Commissioner Snuggs, second Commissioner Sicking, all in favor of not accepting. Aye. Any opposed? There are none. The motion is not accepted, 5-0. Thank you, Doug.
Okay.
Try
Thank you,
back
Judge.
another time, maybe.
You know, if Riverside decides to do this anyway, then it would increase your revenue the same amount,
Yeah.
and you'd be in the same position.
What do you mean if they decide to do it anyways?
In other words, it's their election whether to issue an exemption certificate to suppliers and pay the tax where they use it, because they're doing this for some other cities, including the city of Gainesville. So if they're going to do it for the city of Gainesville, since the city of Gainesville has approved a Chapter 380 agreement, then they will most likely do it for the city, or for the county of Cooke County, and you'll get that revenue one way or another. And it'll hit your caps one way or another.
Well, we can litigate that. You know, if that's what you're saying, they're just going to do it anyways when we don't want it. I mean,
No,
Well-
it either comes to you or it doesn't. So they make the election whether to issue the exemption certificate to their suppliers, and I'm telling you, I think they will, because the city of Gainesville is already, they have 1.5% rate, y'all have a 0.5% rate, and so they will probably give you the revenue one way or another.
I'm done listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thank
city sales tax is treated differently than county. They don't have to offset their,
Well, not from a sales tax perspective.
Right.
Granted, from a property tax perspective, it is, but
Right.
just wanted to let you know, it could hit your caps one way or another. If they, because they have an opportunity to get roughly 3 times as much from the city as they would from the county.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
Sure. Thank you.
Sounds like we need to talk to some state legislatures about some things.
Yeah.
And I don't know who they is,
I don't know who they is either,
Yeah.
but if it comes to a point of whether or not we have to deal with the rollback, we made the decision available to us.
but,
Yeah.
If it's forced on us, then we have good information to take to our legislators.
yeah, exactly.
All right then. Item number 10 failed. Item number 11. Deliberate and consider possible approval of the interlocal agreement between the Texoma Council of Governments and Cooke County. Eric, are you here?
I am here, Judge. Thank you. I also have Nathan Boyd here with me as well.
Okay.
If you have any specific technical questions,
Well-
he's a lot smarter than me, so.
The map man.
If you would, just very quickly explain why you were here to
Yeah, so as you presumably know, Texoma Council of Governments has enjoyed an ILA agreement with Cooke County probably now for what, going on 10 plus years for GIS services. Included in that agreement has been primarily or principally rural addressing services, but then there's also a customizable map viewer component to that as well that the county is subscribed to. I came to the Commissioner's Court last month under the auspices of a proposed increase in our base rural addressing of 10% to account for a couple of things. Number one, our costs, internal costs, software costs have increased. The extent or the number of applications that we've been receiving from Cooke County has increased as well. So it's a combination of internal costs increasing, also current and anticipated increases in not just the number of applications, but the time associated with those applications. That 10% increase was limited to just the rural addressing piece, and I believe the rural addressing component of your current contract is a little more than $23,000. We didn't do anything with the customizable map viewer component. I think there was a question the last time I was here about the utilization of that component of the contract. Cooke County, I believe, Nathan can correct me if I'm wrong, has, I think, access to 50, what we call subscriptions to that.
50, Eric.
50, yes, sir. And I believe currently and consistently, you've been hovering around 14 subscribers. That could be individual members, that can be agencies or organizations that have consistently been subscribing to that. So again, coming back here today, just if you have any additional new questions or if there are any other specific technical aspects of the agreement that you want to have us address to or speak to, between myself and Nathan, we're in a position to be able to do that.
Is there a way to reduce the cost on that if we cap the users on the map?
I'm sorry, Jason?
Is there a way to reduce the cost if we reduce the users on the map service?
Yeah.
Go from 50 subscribers to 20.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, we've historically based that subscription service on $100 per subscribed user. So I think Cooke County's that's been a $5,000 addition. We could go back and say, historically, you've been utilizing those 14. I don't know specifically who those are. Nathan might be in a better position to be able to articulate that. Yeah. The answer to your question, Jason, is yes, we could do that. The limiting factor to that would be the cost for us, the cost of the software for us to be able to provide that service is about $2,200. So we would have to go back and determine whether or not lowering your cost or the fee to you to that utilization, which would be lower than that cost, is something that we can absorb through our other resources.
You said it's 2,200. If we paid for 22 users, it would be a wash, right? Is that what I'm understanding? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, right. If at the end of the day we were to lower that subscription down to basically what our software costs, it would roughly average about 22 users. That would allow you to expand, still have room within that subscription to be able to do more work.
So instead of a $10,000 increase, or I'm sorry, instead of 23 times 10, $2,300 increase, that's where we ended up?
Roughly, yes, sir.
Okay. So if we reduce that back to 2,200, that'd be 2,800 in savings to you guys, right?
Yeah. So if I understand correctly, if we were to reduce the $5,000 subscription to that 2,200, then we would also be looking at the 10% increase to the mapping component. So you'd be, I believe I have the 23,840 as your current rural addressing contract. There'd be a 10% increase to that. And then we would then argue, in this case, we would reduce the map viewer from 5,000 to 2,200.
Yeah, the 10% increase to the mapping was fine and expected.
So what we can do is then we can go back and modify the ILA to account for those adjustments and reissue and send it back to you.
You know, it doesn't sound like a lot of savings, but when we need to save $2,300 on about 2,300 items around our budget, everything's adding up.
I get it.
That'd help us if it worked for you guys.
How's that sound?
I might have missed this. Originally, how many users have any of those do you no longer subscribe or whatever?
Some have come, some have gone. Commissioners in the past, when a new commissioner comes on, I create a new account for them.
Right?
I'm sorry, I have not sent out those appointments to let y'all know. We need to schedule a training for you guys, for anybody new in the county that likes to utilize
I
that.
don't utilize it like I should, you know. It's a really.
But it's there. If you,
Yeah.
but-
Oh, it's great. It helps me with that Lake
Yeah.
Roberts P and Z.
Yeah.
But we got to do 22 minimum.
100%.
But-
And we're averaging at 14, so that gives 6 new members.
So we got 8 to grow, I think, 14. But if you would, please, would you provide us a list of those 14? So
Absolutely.
we may make some additions or deletions, modify that list. If you would do that, and hopefully I'm not talking out of turn and send your ILA back. I don't know that he would need to come back. You guys have any need for these guys to make the drive again?
No, I think you answered all the questions so far. We still have some discussion at a subsequent court.
Sure.
But,
Nathan, you scared me. You were gone, and I thought you had left
Yeah.
like permanently. I misunderstood whoever was
No,
on
no,
the
we-
phone. I was
we-
like,
we-
oh, gosh.
Just shifted a little bit. I'm still at the car. I'm
Good.
still available for whatever y'all need.
Yeah, good.
And we need to recognize him because he's done us a great job for, I guess, for the time period he's been at TOG.
been invaluable for sure.
He's done a good job.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Nathan.
so Eric, what happens if we don't approve the increase?
If you don't improve the increase, then presumably two things happen. The current contract expires the 30th September, so we would have to negotiate a new contract independent of, I think, where our conversation is in order for us to continue to provide services from October 1st.
I don't see that being an issue.
No, was there anything else in it that you had seen, Shelley?
I believe the ILA that I presented to you has the 10% increase in mapping and the $5,000 for the map viewer. It would be a simple matter of me going back, if we're comfortable, and modifying the ILA, sending it back with the reduction from the 50 subscriptions to the 22. So it would basically reduce that 5,000 to 2,200. That's a simple thing. I can do that and have it back to your office and
I'll make a motion that we approve this interlocal agreement with the discussed 22 users for the mapping
Modifications.
modifications.
Okay, would you repeat that, please? Pam, did you hear that? Okay. We have a motion to approve for modification. Say it again.
An amended contract.
Amended we'll approve the ILA with the amendment on the users for the computer. We're going to go to 22 users instead of 50.
Okay. You've heard the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Hollowell. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There,
And we put it in the budget.
yeah.
Yeah, we put the.
It's not.
So it was 31,224 and it drops it down to 28,424.
there you go.
So Eric, off the top of your head, you know how many new addresses we did in Cooke County last year?
I can
911 maybe?
Not off the top of my head, I can research that for you. I know
Nathan,
since
you know
we made the transition into our fiscal year, since June, the number of Cooke County addresses, I believe, is hovering between, the last time I looked was Friday, just under 90. So that's quite an uptick. But more to the point is, some of those addresses can take a half an hour to process, some can take days. So part of what we're trying to account for is that time.
Kind of help us see where our flow is.
Yeah.
And we know we got some coming, maybe where, you know, which precinct it is in.
We definitely have that information. We can start tracking that more specifically.
Probably yours mostly.
I got 2,000. The home builder thing we're talking about, they're building 950 and then 950 across the street with another developer.
We were discussing the subdivisions coming in.
Which those are-
Handling those a little differently, not on the individual address basis. It just would be too much with the.
And I can get you the plat and everything on that. It's all,
I mean, the county provides everything.
They get everything we need.
I'm on the list, so I get it when it first hits.
Okay.
We start working on those as soon as we get them. A lot of them with the county, with the way it's set up, or a single lot stuff coming through, but as soon as I see something more than one or two with a new road, we start working on that.
yep. I figured you did.
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen,
We
I appreciate it.
y'all very
Take
much.
care.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Thanks for making the trip.
You're welcome, sir. Absolutely.
Item number 11 passed 5-0. Item number 12, deliberate and consider possible action regarding, excuse me, the approval of the nationwide plan sponsor access web update form. Elizabeth, can you say all of that without?
So Nationwide is our 457B plan, and they're going paperless, so this form just allows the county access to get in their website and do whatever we need to do to process those deposits to them.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Hollowell.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item 12 passes 5-0. Item number 13, deliberate and consider possible action regarding approval of the employee status and the social media applications and services prohibited on county devices policy.
So these are two separate policies. One is the social media applications and services prohibited on county devices policy. This has to do with Senate Bill 1893. It's new legislation that requires the county to adopt a written policy prohibiting the use of some social media applications on county devices. And the policy should be in with the agenda item that I submitted.
Is that specific to TikTok or?
Yes. And the, I guess, parent company of TikTok. And then
You
my
gonna do
second,
these one at a time? What do we, you need them one at a time? You gonna do them both?
I can go ahead and tell you the second policy is just an update to the employee status policy that we already have. It more clearly defines what a temporary employee is, and so I've added a temporary employee shall be one who works when called in to fill in for an absent employee or to cover a special situation. This practice ensures that the county can maintain its current level of productivity while keeping the employee's positions reserved for when they return from leave.
I think we ought to vote on these separately. You wanna,
Oh, I don't, that's fine.
yeah.
We're talking about personnel policy. What about COVID? Being as COVID is supposedly no longer in existence, do we need to modify our personnel policy and how we deal with COVID time off?
There's really nothing in there that needs to be modified. There's nothing in addition to our sick leave policy, other than what would be required by law for us to do.
What happens now if a person tests positive?
They use their sick time, or if they don't have it, they don't get paid.
Okay. Okay. I would make the motion that we approve the modification tied to social media in the employee handbook.
I think that's, is that your motion?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if you want to do them separate, it is.
Yeah, I want to do it. I just assume since there's two things here. Okay, we have a motion to approve the employees, say that again.
The modification to the employee handbook, I think is the way we do that,
Okay,
associated with social media.
okay, so we have a motion, Commissioner Hollowell. I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. The first half of item 13 has passed 5-0. Now we have the second half, which is, you want to state that?
The employee status policy,
To approve the employee status policy?
to update the definition of a temporary employee.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, Commissioner Snuggs,
Second.
Second, Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Second half of item 13 passes 5-0 as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Item number 14, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the digital services agreement between Cooke County Library and Library Ideas LLC for their free gal music services.
This is just the annual subscription, so there's no changes and no additional other than what she's been paying.
Just a renewal.
Just regular.
Well, I'll make that motion then. Deliberate, item number 14, to just renew the contract between Cooke County Library and Library Ideas LLC. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs, all in favor?
Look, discussion, just a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
That's in the budget?
Yes, in the library budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's her annual.
Okay. There was $2,228 tied to that. That's the
Yeah.
reason I asked the question.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good, Judge. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 14 passes 5-0. Item number 15, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the burn ban. Ray?
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. I provided you a couple of handouts. One is the Keach Byram Drought Index, which with this morning's latest update for what rain we got last night, dropped it from 632 yesterday to 631 today. So not a significant impact. We are down from the 700s that we were in, but we're still way over 600. And 600 is our recommended action number to start with. I've talked to fire departments at Valley View, Munster, and Callisburg to kind of get a geographic opinion, and all three requested that we retain the burn ban. While we have seen some green up a little bit and gotten some rain, I don't think we've gotten enough to really knock it down the way it should be. And then we're also expecting temperatures again, at least in the low 90s the rest of this week, but there's no rain in the foreseeable forecast. So I think it might be premature to do it right now. I think it would probably be best to wait until to monitor conditions and readdress this at our next court.
All right.
The drought index, which is probably not going to change a whole lot, it comes out on Thursdays, has us in an extreme drought right now condition. And again, while we have gotten some rain, it certainly hasn't been enough to mitigate that. So again, just another indicator of how dry it really is out there. And I would say, I'm sorry to not slow down there, but we have had relatively good compliance. We appreciate everybody's help out there, and for the most part, monitoring and managing the burn ban accordingly, not burning. You know, I see them pushing up brush piles and kind of getting ready, but for the most part, other than a couple of folks that thought because it rained that the burn ban was lifted, which is not true. The burn ban is only implemented or lifted at Commissioner's Court. And so encourage everyone out there to realize that, and please take that accordingly.
Okay, with that in mind, I will make the motion that we take no action on item 15. In other words, we leave the burn ban in place. Do I hear a second?
We need a motion for no action.
Well, to leave it in place.
I took it, no action.
Item number 15 is no action. Thank you for that. I didn't want to just come out and say no action without some kind of vote.
Well, I
I'd kind
understand.
of like to check with you.
I understand. It just,
All right, item number 16, deliberate and consider possible landfills in Cooke County. Mr. Sicking.
No action.
Item number 16 is no action. Item number 17, deliberate and consider possible action regarding Main Street parking lot.
Make the last payment to them, and I think Ricky's working on getting the signs. Should be-
The engineer said that there was some, what do you call it when you go in and,
Curb cut or what you?
well, no, you know, like when you buy a house and they put blue tape and they go in there and touch
Oh.
up paint stuff.
Yeah,
What-
like some,
Punch list stuff?
Punch list, there you go. The engineer said there was a punch list of stuff.
I thought we was being password
I
there for a minute.
walked across with them, and we talked about some things, they addressed it, I mean, as far as
I did, he didn't tell me what they were, but we're holding the retainage.
Okay, well, there was another chip in the curb back here, and they were supposed to patch that.
Okay.
I think cut the pipe, or I don't even know what it was, one other thing. It's minor, but they, it is on shaped back slope, of course. They do that, so. Unless y'all have anything else,
I think it looks great.
I think
It's being used. I don't want to step on your toes, Judge, but all the county employees that are watching this, we need to start using this parking lot, stop parking on the square. I think everybody here will agree with me on that. Let's try to free up the square parking for people using the tag office and the local businesses.
And
I get complaints about that all the time. They see county employees get parked right off the square, especially by the Cornerstone Cafe, and walk into the courthouse. Just doesn't look good. We got a new parking lot. Let's use it.
well, as far as I know, that's always been a policy
It is. We need
and
to,
has been a long-standing policy. and
an
we
email,
Need to reinforce that policy that we park away from the square, start using the new parking lot.
I parked in this morning. It's nice. I can understand if it's raining, you might have to hustle, but start using it.
Okay.
Maybe you can get with Chelsea and put an email out to all the departments.
That's.
All the other commissioners agree with me on that one? I'm sorry to step on your
No,
toes,
you
Judge.
didn't, that's fine.
I can't park up front.
Do what?
Doesn't mean I can't park up front.
Yep, yep.
For up to 2 hours.
I've seen you are really good about parking in your parking spot.
Okay, will you put out an email concerning that? Okay, thank you. And so are we through with this then, or can we take it off the list now, or do we need to bring it back?
Paying with the retainer now, or we still gotta bring it back one more?
I would keep it on there till it's
Keep it on
fully
there?
paid.
All right. But otherwise, there's no action.
No action.
All right. Item number 17 is no action. There will be a email concerning the parking situation that results from this. Item number 18 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding real property on Highway 82. Mr. Hollowell,
No action.
no action. All right. Item number 19, deliberate and consider possible action regarding broadband services. Commissioner Snug.
No action.
19 is no action. Item number 20, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the annex.
That was on there for your stuff, right? Oh, okay. What is that on there for?
This is on there concerning the back door. And there has been a request that we make the back door accessible, especially during voting time, to move machines and motors and different people in and out of the building.
Make it
through the
accessible,
back
like,
door.
like change the door out to a storefront.
I don't think you'd have to change anything, and I've checked with the fire marshal, there's no reason it can't be accessible.
Open the one-way locks
Yes.
during the day.
I'm not sure, having not been here, I'm not sure why the why it is as it is, the policy is that it is. So if it's something that can be.
Probably when there wasn't much activity over there, it was just
Okay.
an exit door. And now it's full of activity. What do you think?
I've got some concerns about that. As much as I would like to make it available for voting, it's not ADA accessible, and people start coming in and out of there, we have an issue. And somebody notifies TDLR, then you may spend a bunch of money. The other thing is, right now it's currently secured with badge access, and I get on a temporary basis if we have somebody there. Pam and I talked about it. She might, because she's checking people in, she might have somebody sitting there at a desk doing that. But all of a sudden, people think that's an entry to the public, and it's not intended to be. So after early voting's going, they're going to be at that back door wanting to gain entry. The other issue we have is parking. As long as we have a tenant in that building, actually 2 tenants in that building, historically, the county has only had 2 parking spots designated behind that building.
We have 2?
We've had 2 during the time that when we purchased the annex, all we got was 2 parking spots, and we're using more than that currently.
But we own the bank now.
You do, but you've got it leased, so you're obligated, I think, to provide your tenants parking.
Okay. Now, all of this was predicated on the repair of the area back there, the porch, the tiles that are back there that are very uneven and hard to move stuff. I'm talking about right outside, immediately outside the back door over there. It's uneven, and so it would maybe pour a slab that would be easy enough to walk on, but more than that, easy enough to move equipment in and out, rollers, that sort of thing.
Well, we've got that one area that's been utilized for parking that should be designated as a loading zone. And there's also a ramp, but I'm not sure that, I don't know that it matches the appropriate angle to be approved by ADA. It's because it's the length of it and it's pretty steep. I personally don't think it will meet ADA. I think it's suitable to roll a cart on and move equipment in and out, but I don't know that it's adequate for wheelchairs and stuff of that nature.
Okay, Pam, you were primarily interested.
Ramp, just like even for IT, moving equipment in and out,
Yeah.
the bricks are unlevel, and it's very easy to twist your ankle and fall off of it, or get the dolly across there, so it's just a little, I'm not talking about voters, just to get equipment in and out. We also use
We
that.
have that ramp adjacent to what should be a loading zone.
Well, they back right up to, they can back right up to that cement, whatever, but we can't get the equipment out to it because there's that, the bricks right there.
But isn't it flat from the doors? Isn't it flat concrete from the doors to what should be a loading
No,
zone parking
there's
lot?
bricks there that are unlevel.
They're very uneven and hard to move stuff over.
But that's both sides of the concrete, right? Right out the door is concrete. There's a concrete platform right out the door.
But then there's a little platform, but then to get over to the other platform, there's just a tree there, a stump, and grass, and some bricks.
It's unusable, basically.
I made my comments, I'll do what you want to do.
And a lot of this, a lot of your concern was for
Curbside voters.
curbside voting, which would take it from the front of the building where it's a parking
Right.
problem and interferes with the parking over there to the back where it would be a little more controllable. So I think probably from what I'm hearing here, we need to talk about this a little bit more and bring it back next time.
The other concern is if we're going to do anything to that back, we would need to make it ADA. And are we going to open Pandora's box to do an ADA to the whole entire Prosperity Bank
Right, we might need to.
How are we
We're not
gonna pay
sure.
for this?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing but.
The front is ADA, so we don't, the back.
Yeah, you've got ADA curb cut at the front, so it's a non-issue, and that's the reason we've used the front. I mean, we've done good things to create a voting location in that building. But I never, I mean, where I think it's a good idea to be able to run ballots back and forth out, I don't know that it's doable right now.
Maybe when we have control of the parking lot.
Right now, I think that's absolutely a concern. If we don't have control, if we do, us putting up cones, you know, will people pay any attention to them? I don't know. But ADA, we got to provide our parking for our tenant in the bank, security, if we're going to leave that door unattended or unsecured, and then any future anticipation that people can run back there and park and come in that door, it's going to be secured. It's badge reader access only. That'd be my, again, if we start working on it, are we going to force ourselves to do something ADA around the block, so to speak? Because we have the whole block.
Shelley brought up a good point, we don't have any.
And it's not budgeted, so.
I think there's enough questions that remain unanswered. Let's bring that back in 2 weeks and see if we know a little bit more about the situation. I can understand Pam's concern and.
For sure.
Oh, it's very legitimate. It's very customer oriented.
So-
Absolutely. I get it.
That's why I'd like to bring it back in 2 weeks, and we'll know a little bit more about it then. Item number 20 is no action. Item number 21, deliberate and consider possible action regarding proposed way station. No action. Item number 22, deliberate and consider possible action regarding various grant funds.
I heard from TxDOT this morning that there are 2 forms that I have to fill out for each road prior to submitting the reimbursement request. So I'll start working on those and get those approved by TxDOT before I can submit the reimbursement.
Okay, so
No action.
no action at this time. Item number 22 is no action. Item number 23, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Crest Building.
Where are we, guys?
I understand that we got the elevator inspection.
Okay, here's where we stand on that. The elevator was inspected. The
We got the form.
certificate
We got the certificate.
has been sent to Austin.
Oh, but we haven't gotten it back from Austin yet.
Haven't gotten it back from Austin yet. However, the infraction, the fine has been dismissed and removed, okay?
Well, I haven't taken it off of insurance yet, and I haven't gotten the electricity out of her name yet, because we are still using electricity, working on it and things like that. So as soon as we get that back, I need to take it off of insurance and
Okay.
add our name on electricity.
Is that all we lack to get the additional holdings,
As far as I know.
the AC issues?
The
And the
AC
elevator.
issue has been resolved, it's fixed. So,
We're close.
we're close.
No action, bring it back.
No
hopefully back
action,
one more
bring it
time.
back. Item number 24, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Prosperity Building.
Say no action.
Why do we have that on there now?
Just
Well, there's still air conditioner problems, there's,
That's routine maintenance, though, should be.
yeah, we can probably just pull it off for now.
I mean, if we follow that logic, then we need to put the old jail on there and all that, everything we're doing routine maintenance on, I would think, Judge.
Well, there's concerns about the heating boiler over there.
But
that's
again,
another
on
thing that's
that,
coming up.
that's just maintenance. We have to do it, right?
It's gonna be a big maintenance.
No, I mean, it's,
I want to leave it on there one more time, and until Rick comes back here and talks to us about that boiler situation, like you mentioned.
We budgeted that, didn't we, Shelley? We budgeted some money and concern for maintenance for Prosperity.
I think we budgeted for a couple of ACs. I don't know about a boiler.
I don't think we did the boiler, and that's a chunk of money.
Yeah, it'll boil down to a maintenance issue and us doing a budget amendment if we have to. All right.
All right, item 24 is no action, but bring that back in 2 weeks. 25, deliberate and consider possible action regarding Cooke County EMS and fire pager system. Commissioner Arn.
I have nothing on that unless Gary's found something. Has Wes got anything ordered or?
It's on order, it's back ordered, and what is open for consideration is, he's got a 50 watt that he will loan us until the 100 watt comes in. My concern is if it's not pristine, we'll get negative feedback. So that's up to the court. Wes is, he will do that for us. But again, it's,
Thoughts?
I think I'd wait.
okay.
Put it up or it ain't right, you're
That's what I think, it'll just,
You'll think that's the permanent
yeah,
solution.
it'll just generate negative publicity. And kind of my thoughts, if you guys agree, we'll tell him hold off.
Just bring it back.
I just leave it on there, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
All right, item 25 is no action. Bring it back in 2 weeks.
I just want y'all to know that Wes did offer that, so that you guys are in the loop, but
Okay, item number 26. We, at this time, 11:13, we'll go into executive session. So if we could clear the court, except Shelley, would you like to stay for this one? Okay, we will end this
Hold on one
executive
second.
session.
Hold on one second.
Are we ready?
Hold on one second. I gotta get my disc in there.
You ready?
Now my turn.
Oh,
She's ready.
you ready, Pam?
Now I'm ready.
All right, we'll end this executive session at 11:44. Item number 27, deliberate and consider possible action regarding consultation with attorney regarding proposed actions and advice to the court, real property contracts being negotiated, or any personnel matters.
No action with it.
Well, other than, I think, do we want to say something about a meeting later, just call that?
I don't know.
That there'll be
No,
a-
there's no action. We're gonna put our opinions together and bring it back.
All right then, item number 27 is no action. Brings us to item number 28, do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Commissioner Snuggs, second is Commissioner Hart. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. That motion passes 5-0. This court is adjourned at 11:45.